welcome back to my channel, Theater from My View. I am Amanda Washington, and today I'm coming at you with my summer reading list. But before we get into it, a few things. 1, I post a new video every other Friday. So 2, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, because 3, every other Friday is coming quick, fast, and boom, in a hurry, and you don't want to miss it. All right, are you ready? Let's get into it. Y'all. Okay, so this reading list, I've been talking about it on IG for a minute. Once again, if you saw my previous video, I was taking some time for myself, so this is why it's taken so long for me to get you this video. But I've been reading a lot. Some of the books I like, some of the books I'm like, well, it's a book. It exists. And I acknowledge that people put their hard-earned effort into it, but yeah. So let's get there. I'm not sure. Should I start off with one I like or one I am not too crazy about? Let's start on a positive note. Why not? Let's start on a positive note. I'm really thinking about like educational or plays, because it's a mixture. Educational, plays, and just books for pleasure. Okay. Crap, I started with the one I'm not sure if I know how to say its name correctly. Okay, anyways, here it is. It is called Rosmersholm. It's Rosmersholm, and it's an adaptation of Henrik Ibsen's play, and the adaptation is by Duncan Macmillan. So, Rosmersholm. And it's a script about, I'll read the description to you. An election looming, a country on the brink, a rabid press baying for blood. At the center of the storm stands Rosmersholm, the grand house of an influential dynasty. This is where the future will be decided by John Rosmer, a man torn between the idealized hope of the future and the ghost of his past. It's actually really good. I like it so much, and I'm going to actually do a full Theater from My View video on this one because of the opening. The opening just struck me. It seemed as if it was this dark manor that hadn't been really tapped into for years, and then you just see this figure in white running around, opening up all the doors or windows to let in this light. Hopefully I'm remembering this entrance correctly, but that's what I saw in my mind, and I was like, this is beautiful. And then one of the stage directions says you can, for the most part, always hear the babbling water mill in the background, and it only stops when something really tragic happens. So I read this book in okay, I keep saying it's a book. It's a script. It's definitely a script. But I read this in 2 days. And the only reason it took me 2 days is because I think I started either late at night, or I started when I knew I was going to be interrupted, so I couldn't have a full sit through and finish it. I think in one of my previous videos, I said, I know I like a script if I just sit down and read it completely. This is definitely one of those. If I hadn't been interrupted, or if I hadn't started late at night, I would have finished it one sitting, no doubt. So, Rosmersholm, and the original script is by Henrik Ibsen, and this is the adaptation by Duncan Macmillan. Haven't read the Henrik Ibsen play. I probably will do some type of research or read it when I do a full Theater from My View video on this, but you're looking for a script and you like the synopsis, try this one. Alrighty, so that was a book. That one's kind of for work because I do buy plays to put on the channel, so that one's kind of for work. This one I'm about to show you is completely for pleasure. Black Girl Call Home by Jasmine. Oh my gosh, it's a book of poetry. And y'all, it's good. And I'm racking my brain to make sure this is accurate information. I think this is the first book of poetry I have ever knowingly and willingly bought. I'm gonna put it like that, because many of us have gone to college and had to buy books and stuff we didn't want to buy and haven't cracked open, and we've long done graduated. But Black Girl Call Home by Jasmine. The way this poet just puts together a poem is out of this world. She talks about, so actually let me give you a description and then we'll get into what she really talks about. From acclaimed poet Jasmine Mann comes a unforgettable poetry collection about race, feminism, and queer identity, which echoes of Gwendolyn Brooks and Sonia Sanchez. Mann writes to call herself and us home. Each poem explores what it means to be a daughter of Newark, New Jersey, and America, and the painful, joyous path to adulthood as a young queer Black woman. Black Girl Call Home is a love letter to the wandering Black girl and a vital companion to any woman on a journey to find truth, belonging, and healing. I was researching her on her Instagram account, and I think the reason why I like this so much is because I know a little bit about her writing process. It was very interesting because I'm not going to get this completely right, so go check out her IG account yourself. But she was giving writing prompts for people who needed to get out of their stalemate, their writer's block, yeah. And it was like, okay, give yourself the direction of how to get home, and then first maybe write something that's very literal. You turn this place and then you turn that place, and then you write something that's in a sense abstract. And she gave the example of you get home by knowing how to find your mother's heartbeat. And I was like, oh, that's some good stuff right there. Like, the way she broke it down, I would have never thought to have done that in that sense. But I'm also not a writer. I'm definitely not just a director, but I'm definitely directing focused, and I would have never thought to have written it that way. And I just found that so beautiful. And I think that's why I also am attracted to her plays. I mean, her poems. Also, her poems, like the description said, are extremely visceral. It's in your face. It's unapologetic. It's in the nitty gritty, and it calls people out, but it also calls people in the sense of there's this warmth to it that even though I'm reading about something really harsh, in a weird way, I feel comforted. I guess it's because in many ways I feel seen when I read this book of poetry. These are poems that I'm still working my way through. It's about, how many pages is this? I'm going to say it's like, if we're including the author's notes, and I like to read the author's notes. So it's about 245 pages, and I'm on page 165. But some of these poems are like, what? I just passed one that's 4 sentences long. And when I say 4 sentences, 4 lines, it's technically only 1 sentence as I'm looking at it right here. But, so it's not like we're about to read essays upon essays. No. I do have a book that I'm going to talk to you all about that is essays upon essays, but this isn't it. This is really good. Definitely recommend if you're looking to dive into poetry and you're not really sure where to start. Black Girl Call Home by Jasmine Mann. Also check out her IG account. This is in no way, shape, or form sponsored, but definitely something I really like. What's next? Care work. Please excuse me if I really do mess up the name. I will work to get it right, and I will also make sure that this person's name is in the description. Leah, Lakshmi, Piepzna-Samarasinha. That is who wrote. And when I say wrote, this is actually a series of essays compiled into one. So some of these are Leah's essays and some of these are other people's essays. It is a mapping of access as radical love, a celebration of the work that sick and disabled queer people of color are doing to find each other and to build power and community, and a toolkit for everyone who wants to build radically resilient, sustainable communities of liberation where no one is left behind. Powerful and passionate, care work is a crucial and necessary call to arms. So a few months ago for my job, I had to do a series called Raising the Curtain. A part of the work was talking with people in the ableism community, getting their perspective on how the world can be more inclusive to their needs. And I read this book because I've explained this in many videos. I'm a perfectionist. I don't like coming into situations where I'm not fully prepared, or at least have like knowledge to hold up a decent conversation. I don't like doing that. I think that's the worst feeling, being unprepared, in my opinion, for me. So this book really helped open my eyes to what people in the disabled community go through, but also figuring out what questions to ask, but also for that panel I was moderating, but also questions where it's like, Amanda, don't ask this. It's really up in your face. It's really common knowledge, but unfortunately you just weren't thinking it through. This book really helped explain a lot of that to me. So care work, like I said, it's a series of essays, and it's just people's perspectives who are a part of the disability community and how they view the world, how they interact with the world, and just things that people who are fully able-bodied can do to help people who are not fully able-bodied. Care work. This is something that has taken me a while to finish. With this type of work, I don't want to take it lightly. I'm definitely going to say this is not one of the things I will sit down and read in a day. It took me like 2 or 3 months. 2 or 3 months. And I'm not going to lie, there's still a certain portion that I'm not completely through with. But yes, 2 to 3 months. So if you're looking for the long haul, best haul, care work. And like I said, I will leave descriptions, as in titles and who wrote it, in the description box. So if you all want to check out any of these books, you know where to go. Let's do another script, because this is theater from my view. All right. Lucy Pebble, The Effect. Introduction by Marian Gilson. Anyways, The Effect is a clinical romance. 2 young volunteers, Tristan and Connie, agree to take part in a clinical drug trial, succumbing to the gravitational pull of attraction and love. However, Tristan and Connie manage to throw the trial off course, much to the frustration of the clinicians involved. This funny, moving play explores questions of sanity, neurology, and the limits of medicine. Okay, first and foremost, for those of you who don't know, I am Grey's Anatomy certified. So if I was a doctor on Grey's Anatomy, would be board certified, everything. So when I read that this was a thing, that this book existed, I was like, yes, I can put my Grey's Anatomy knowledge to use. I will know all the terms throwing out. Ooh, I'm gonna suggest this to my theater to produce in our upcoming seasons. It's gonna be a great time. I wanted to like this script so much. And I started off liking this script so much. But in all honesty, it took too long for it to start. As in, I'm on page 45, technically 44. And there are 100 pages in this script. It took me about 3 weeks to finish it. And when I say finish it, get to page 44, because I just didn't really understand what was happening. And maybe I'm missing some deep inner subtext. Maybe I am. And if you've read this script, please give me the key. You've read it and you like it. Please give me the key so I can finish the script. But I don't know. It took too long to start. I'm on page 44 and I don't know why I should be rooting for these characters or why I should be rooting for this storyline. And I was like, well, maybe it's a mystery, Amanda. It did not say mystery in the description, okay? First and foremost, it didn't say mystery in the description. So I was like, well, okay, so that doesn't explain why it's taking so long for this story to warm up. I don't know. The characters didn't attract me. Storyline, after really getting into it, didn't really strike my fancy. And something I learned in grad school is after 10 pages, if you're not in it, this may not be the play for you. So, yeah. The Effect by Lucy Preble. Oh my goodness. Lucy Preble. Not my favorite. I hate to say that, but not my favorite. Alrighty, I have 3 more. Okay, this is the last kind of academic one. This book. In Search of Our Warrior Mothers, Woman Dramatist of the Black Artist Movement by LaDonna L. Forsgren. Forsgren? This book is so good. Like, full stop. Don't need to say anything else. I'm pretty sure you heard by the way my voice dropped. I was like, this is so good. This is so good. I've talked about this before on the channel. I really struggle with how the academic setting only catered to Eurocentric views and a sprinkling of the tokenized Black people in teaching me about theater. I really struggled with that in college and in grad school. And so reading this book opened my eyes to more playwrights, and specifically women of color, who had an impact on the African American theater culture. And so people like Barbara Antier, Sonia Sanchez, who I mentioned is some of the inspiration for Jasmine Mann's poetry of Black Girl Call Home. And there is J.E. Franklin and Marsha Evans Charles. This is who LaDonna L. Forsgren talks about in this book. And it's so good to be introduced to those four playwrights' material, to how they were functioning during the Black artist movement, and just the impact their work has had on the Black theater community, but also the theater community in general or as a whole. There's 5 chapters in this book, and I read it in a week. And I think it would have taken me a little bit less time if I didn't go on vacation and had to be dragged out the hotel. It's good. It's good. If you're looking for more education, if you're looking for more knowledge on just women leaders in the Black theater community during the 60s and the 70s, pick up this book. Go check it out at the library or go find it on Amazon. That's how I found it. But it's so good. There's a lot of things that challenged my thoughts and then I'm still ruminating over. I'm like, I don't know if I agree with it, but I definitely see your point. There's some things where I was like, I completely reject this idea, but then I had to take a step back and say, okay, Amanda, from whose perspective are you rejecting it? From how you were taught to view theater through your educational system, or are you rejecting it as you as an artist and your journey of discovering how you bring African-American work into almost everything that you do? So whose perspective are you rejecting it from? And then there's some things where I was just like, I love it. I love it. Can I get it? Can I get a painting of it? So yes, In Search of Our Warrior Mothers. Oh my gosh, I didn't read you all the description, and it's one of my favorites. Here we go. The Black artist movement, happening from 1965 to 1976, consisted of artists across the United States deeply concerned with the relationship between politics and the Black aesthetic. In Search of Our Warrior Mothers examines the ways in which Black women playwrights and the movement advanced feminist and womanist perspectives from within Black nationalist discourses. LaDonna L. Forsgren recuperates the careers, artistic theories, and dramatic contributions of 4 leading playwrights: Marsha Evans Charles, J.E. Franklin, Sonia Sanchez, and Barbara Antier. Using original interviews, production recordings, playbills, and unpublished manuscripts, she investigates how these women, despite operating within a context that equated the collective well-being of Black people with male agency, created works that validated Black women's aspirations for autonomy and explored women's roles in the struggle for Black liberation. In Search of Our Warrior Mothers demonstrates the powerful contributions of women to the creation, interpretation, and dissemination of Black aesthetic theory, thus opening an interdisciplinary conversation at the intersections of theater, performance, feminist, and African American studies, and identifying and critiquing the gaps and silences within these fields. I will say this book, it's pretty thick in the sense of like, there ain't spaces. So you will, if you're not obsessed with it like me, when you first pick it up, you are going to need some time. So like I said, read it on a vacation when your family's not trying to drag you out the hotel. No shade, no tea. But anyways, yeah, really good. All right, I have 2 plays. Which one do I want to talk about first? Oh, I know what I'll do. Okay, I'll tell you after I've done it. This is Small Island. I saw, and it is adapted by Helen Edmondson from the novel by Andrea Levy, or Levy. Okay, so a synopsis of what this is about. Hortense yearns for a new life away from rural Jamaica. Gilbert dreams of becoming a lawyer, and Queenie longs to escape her Lincolnshire roots. In these three intimately connected stories, hope and humanity meet stubborn reality, tracing the tangled history of Jamaica and Britain. Sorry, I was like, is that Britannia? No, it's not, Amanda. It's Britain. Anyways, so I saw that the National Theater was doing this. I saw a trailer for it, and I was like, oh, this looks compelling and interesting. The set was gorgeous, y'all. The set, go look up National Theater Small Island. Go look it up. The trailer is gorgeous, and the set, or that's what I mean, the set is gorgeous, and it is projections with a bare stage with objects that roll on and off. And if you know the National Theater, you know they have to have their turning table. Look, I haven't seen the show, and there'll probably be some rain because, once again, it's the National Theater. They love to have their rain and fire on stage. But it was so compelling. So I got on Amazon and I was like, let me just read the script. The script, it's good. It's good. I think the reason why I was so struck by it is, once again, the trailer did a lot of things for this script. You got to stick with it at the beginning, because I was on page 28 and I literally wrote a note. I was like, I'm not sure what's happening. You got to stick with it because it goes back and forth between times a little at the beginning. So stick with it. But overall, a nice script. I'm probably going to do a TFMV video on it. I'm not 100% sure because there are, like I said, there's Rosmersholm I want to talk to you all about, and then there is the next script that I have in my lap that I want to talk to you about. So by the time I get around to this, it may be a new year, and I may have read more scripts to talk to you all about and just have put this on the back burner. But Small Island, check out the trailer. This one, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'll show you the text. So it's like, it's filled, but also there's stage directions in here. And you know, so that will happen in the silence. Obviously, stage directions happen while people are either talking or in the silence. So that's why the text looks like boom, 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 compact. It's, how many pages is this, Amanda? It's 130. So if we're doing that old rule of a page is like a minute and a half, well, not a minute and a half, but a minute, it's 130 minutes. So maybe it is a solid 2 hours and 10 minutes. If you want to add a juicy intermission, let's just push it to 240. Okay, 240. Not bad. Not bad. Don't know if I can sit through 240 and it not be like absolutely stunning. But if you like long, juicy plays, check it out. All right, this final one. Bull in a China Shop by Bryan Turner. The description. Inspired by the real letters between Mary Woolley and Jeanette Marks, spanning from 1899 to 1937. This fast-paced comedy asks, what is revolution? What does it mean to be at odds with the world? How do we fulfill our potential? And how the hell do we grow old together? It's okay. The reason why I picked this one last is because I'm going to do a theater for my view video on it. I'm going to talk about the playwright and then do an actual video script breakdown. So those will be two separate videos and they'll come out in 2 weeks and one will come out in 4 weeks. But this is the next one I'm doing. So that's why I picked it for last. So it'll be like a transition. LOL. This script, really good. I read it, or actually I didn't. Yes, I read it, but when I picked it up and just did a quick skim, like just flipping through the pages like that, I was like, is there any context in here? Like, it's, look at it. It's real bare bones type of thing. The sentences aren't long is what I'm trying to say. The sentences aren't long, and it doesn't seem like there's that many sentences in a scene. But after doing some research on the playwright and how they like to write, it's like, okay, cool. I hear you. I see you. I can get down with it. It leaves room in my mind for the designers to really get to work on playing with, we're in one location now, but then we automatically switch with like no sense of time to do a set transition. So how are we going to get there? It leaves room for the designers to have a theatrical jungle gym of figuring that out with the director and possibly the actors. It's told in episodic format, and it's not necessarily even a linear type of track in my mind. If I'm remembering the script correctly, sometimes we're ahead, and I think we may at one point go back, or I may be just confusing how the playwright wrote it. Both are possible. I'm human. It's fine. But I liked that this was based off of a real story. And I'll get deeper into what I like about the script, what I had questions about, and more about the playwright, and like I said, the upcoming 2 videos. But once again, this took me a while to read, not gonna lie. At first I was turned off by it being so bare. I am used to meaty scripts. I love a good meaty script, even if it is 2 hours and 40 minutes. As long as it's good, I like a meaty script. When it is so short and quick and to the point, sometimes I myself just like question, am I missing something? Do I not understand what the playwright's trying to say? Why am I getting through it so quickly? And I also question, I'm like, well, is this even essential? But no, I think this playwright, Turner, has done a great job in writing something well-crafted that's to the point, but also makes you ponder the questions that I raised at the beginning of what is revolution and how the hell do you grow old together? I think she does a lovely job with that. Well, like I said, I didn't read it in one full setting. I picked up the script when a lot was happening in my life, and I didn't get back to it till like 2 or 3 months. But when I picked it back up, finished it in a day. So there's the honesty with that. Bull in a China Shop by Bryan Turner. I'm also going to be doing, like I said, 2 videos on this person and their play. So look forward to that. That's my summer reading list. I hope you are able to find something that you like with the plays that I just talked about or the books that I just talked about. I have a fall reading list. We'll see if it gets accomplished. If anything, I'll have like at least 2 books to talk to you about. At least a good juicy 2. But yes, I will see you all in another 2 weeks. Until then, have a great day or days, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.